Hi, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Looking very well.
Oh, thank you, and you too. Listen,
Thank,
I'm so excited about this production of yours that I
thank
saw
you.
on Facebook. Yeah,
Yep,
and
it's a
tell
great
me.
play. Do you know
Yeah,
the play by Edward Albee?
no, I don't.
No? He's the one who wrote Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's the same author, and he also wrote The Zoo Story and many others. Don't ask me now.
Mm,
I don't know.
yeah. And so and you're doing this in German.
We're doing it in German, yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
just German, but funny enough, it was written 1958.
Yeah.
Then it was brought out the first time in Germany. I think it was in Berlin,
Mm.
1959. And then
Okay.
after that, fall, autumn, winter, 1959, it was brought to back to America.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and did you choose this? Did you decide on doing this?
No, we've been chosen.
Oh,
We've
I
been
see.
chosen. The
Okay.
lady who directed it, she has chosen the play, and she wanted Mr. Terne and me
Yeah.
to do these two roles, and it's a fantastic play. It's very
Yeah.
very very interesting, very interesting.
But give me a sort of just a quick idea of what it's all about.
What's it all about? It's about two men
Mm,
who meet in Central Park
mm,
in New York, Manhattan. One is living in Manhattan West. That's Jerry, Johannes Terne. Me, I'm living in Manhattan East.
mm,
That's Peter, me,
mm,
and we we are so different as different can be, because at
mm,
that time, as you know, people still people think about that people living in the West are a little bit strange and people living in the East are a little bit
mm,
strange, blah blah blah. But I think it's two people meeting. One, that's Jerry, that's the other guy who's living in the west part, between Columbus Avenue and Central Park West.
mm.
Actually, funny enough, exactly where I lived, but not
Really?
in 83rd Street.
Yeah.
Um, he is giving up. He doesn't believe in human beings anymore. He does,
Mm,
and he is kind of thinking to suicide, to
mm,
take to give up his life forever. And I don't know if he's afraid to do it by himself or if he is just lazy. I have no
mm,
idea. Uh, it's absurd theater, so they call it.
mm,
So you can't take everything too realistic,
mm.
otherwise you're completely in the wrong road.
Yeah. And so, is it? How was it? What was it like to come back and to start playing again in front of an audience?
Oh my goodness, that was different. That was a
Really?
different thing. Yeah, it wasn't difficult, but it was a different thing. My last concert I did on the 27th of October last year, 2000,
Mm,
and my first concert this year, 7 months later, was on the
mm,
27th of May
mm,
2021. So yeah, it was it was a different feeling. For the first time, I was nervous. I was really nervous.
really?
I can't remember me being nervous for so many years. I don't know. Probably, excited but not nervous. But I was really nervous, and especially about the play because it's just dialogues.
Mm, mm,
it's a dialogue between Jerry and Peter, and the other thing was musical, so you can hide behind music a little bit.
mm,
But this is so obvious, everything, and everything which is on the stage is a bench in
mm,
the park of Central Park. There are no trees, there are no bushes, there's nothing. There's just a bench, and I am sitting there, And as every Sunday, as I say, every Sunday afternoon after lunch, my wife makes. We have two daughters, we have two cats, we have two parrots. We live a very conservative life, especially at that time. I was growing up in a household as a lonely child, very religious. My family, also my new family now, and Jerry is the complete opposite. He's so different, you know. And what he tries, he thinks that human beings are animals, or animals are human beings, vice versa. And what he tries is, if I could be a friend of his, if I could be his friend, and he realizes that I don't understand, it makes me almost crying that I don't understand, because I thought in Peter always thought he understands everything.
Mm.
So that's it. And well, and however, I'm glad to be back on stage because
Mm.
I love to perform.
Mm. But I can imagine, because it's also um, it's a deep subject really that you are playing at the moment. You know,
Indeed.
it's something, and it's so exposed, like you say, it's just a bench, and there's
Nothing
nothing
else.
else to hide behind. Um, but you and Johannes play together quite a lot, I see, because sometimes I see things on Facebook, and I see you together
True.
quite a lot. Do you have a good chemistry on stage? Do you know each other from playing, from always playing together, that you sort of, it's comfortable to have that?
I think he's a great actor.
Mm.
And we met doing Jean Poiret's play La Cage aux Folles,
Okay.
a cage of foolish, or whatever the English name is. But
Yeah.
I think it's also La Cage aux Folles in English, or American English, or South African English.
Yeah.
And we met there, and it was such a pleasure,
Mm,
because I saw him before in a smaller role, in two
mm,
roles actually, in a play called what was it called? It was, there's a film also about it. Their Bokara, their Bokara,
mm, mm,
and he played actually a person which you later find out who
mm.
just escaped from the Baumgartner Höhe, from the Narrenhaus, from the Irrenhaus, from the
Oh,
madhouse.
okay. Mm,
And he looks like Hitler, and he
mm,
behaves like Hitler, and he talks like Hitler. And when I saw him on stage, I had a feeling, oh my God, he's back.
really.
And
So
and
convincing.
yes, and the director who said, who told me many uh, other actors, and as an actor, as a colleague, I don't try to be nasty to anybody else, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, um, but I think he saw it in my eyes that I
Oh,
wasn't so pleased about the others, and then he mentioned him, and I wasn't sure about his name. And he said, "Well, how's about Johannes Terne?" I said, "Who's Johannes Terne? I don't know Johannes Terne." But you've seen him. You've seen him Bokara playing who? He was Hitler. I said, him? Okay. Immediately, I said, yes, take him,
really,
and pay
really.
him whatever he likes. No, I mean, he didn't pay very much.
Mm,
The music was paid much better. It was
yeah.
actually 20 times as much. But
Mm.
music theater is always better paid than
Oh, oh,
acting
okay,
theater.
yeah. Mm. So, and these roles that you play, are you in real life also completely different characters? I mean,
Yes.
you are. Okay, so
We are completely different characters.
really.
We do
Mm,
have a lot of fights.
mm,
We even talked about it, but I don't want to mention more about it. So we have a lot of fights still.
mm,
After
yeah.
3.5 years, we met the first time. But
Mm,
performing with him
mm.
is something which made me quite difficult comparing to others.
Oh, I
Because
see.
it's
Mm,
when I play with other people, because I had him as Georges in La Cage aux Folles. And then I had did the musical in Baden by Wien,
Mm.
and I had a Swiss guy who was nice looking and everything, and he also did a movie long time ago with Maria Schell.
Mm.
And I thought, well, he was
Mm.
very nice when I met him for the photo for the posters. Um, but then on stage, I realized he can't act, he can't sing, he can't dance. So he was completely wrong in that field. So I mean,
Mm.
he's completely wrong on stage anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
So I
okay.
don't mention his name, but
Yeah.
it was very difficult after performing with somebody who is the person.
Mm.
And that's always so important to me. You
Mm.
have to be the person. I am
Yeah.
Peter for
Mm.
until the break and after the break until
Yeah.
the end. So I am Peter. It's
Mm.
and it's not Johannes. I'm playing with Jerry, or I'm
Mm.
talking to Jerry, or I'm pissed off of Jerry or whatever,
Mm.
because he is actually interrupting me because I always sitting in the park there in
Mm.
Central Park on the same bench. I have the feeling it's my bench. That's the funny story
Mm.
behind it. He has the feeling he owes it,
Mm.
and but there suddenly comes somebody by and starts to interrupt and says, "Excuse me, I was going to the zoo. Hello, I was going to the zoo. Hey, I was going to the zoo." I said, "Sorry, are you talking to me?" Um, and in the beginning, I'm very Manhattan East like, very
Oh.
nosy, very
Mm.
not nosy, very high nosed,
Oh, yeah,
very
yeah.
arrogant,
Mm.
and during his during this talk we have,
Mm.
during um, this conversation we have, I changed completely. And I changed to somebody who's finally very weak
Mm.
and doesn't understand that he finally something can't understand. He just can't understand. And that makes me completely mad.
Mm.
And so I think the play is fantastic. I never did. I always wanted to perform either the young guy or the old elderly guy. So meanwhile, it will be the elderly guy probably,
Oh,
uh, who's afraid of Virginia Woolf. It's
yeah.
also a fantastic play. I've seen it very
Mm.
often, but I can't say that I really liked it.
Oh, okay.
um, I, with absurd theater, you have to be very careful. You
Mm.
have to try not to be too realistic, not
Oh.
to be in the field of realism. It's not realism. It's
Mm.
something else. It is realism, but it's also absurd realism as a
Yeah.
so it's actually a fashion of their time in the
But
late
is it,
50s,
it
60s.
is it more exaggerated, you think? You know, like more um
Mm. Mm.
than reality? Or do you
Yes,
think it represents
yes,
reality?
yes. Because you have to sometimes to go away from reality into
Mm.
something completely different, into something uh, how can I call it? Something absurd.
Yeah.
That's why absurd theater. But I like it very much. It's the first time that I'm performing absurd theater. I did once in an opera, but it was bad, so I don't even
Oh.
want to remember it.
Oh.
There was back. It was called Erendira, and it was written by a Romanian writer. What's his
Mm.
name? And it was a Romanian composer, and she was really completely helpless. The music was
Oh.
terrible, and I hated it. So
Oh.
that was absurd too, but it wasn't absurd enough. I mean, she tried again. She did a mistake. She tried to write or compose it into something realistic,
Oh, okay.
and it isn't.
Mm.
It isn't.
Mm.
It is realistic. You can say yes, these things happen in life. Yes, and
Yeah.
maybe life is absurd. You know,
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe, uh,
Exaggerate.
I'm sure that I'm absurd many times in my in my life,
Well,
and I will be until the rest of my life. Um, but maybe life is absurd. I don't know.
yeah. But how do you make this transition on stage? Well, you used to singing, and that is it for you sometimes this strange, or do you get used to not singing then when you do a play like this?
Not at all. Not at all. I
Really?
started as an actor and I end as an actor,
Mm.
which is good because I had a very famous, I don't know if you know him, if you knew him, his name was Fritz Mulia. He was a
Mm.
very famous Austrian actor. He was so the bon vivant of Austrian
Oh,
theater.
okay. Mm.
And he was, thank you,
Mm.
Destiny. He was my teacher and he passed away, gosh, I think it's 8 years now ago.
Oh,
And
okay.
I do miss him because he was
Mm.
not only my teacher, was also my dad, more than my dad ever
Mm.
was.
Mm.
But
Mm.
anyway, um, and now I lost the line, the important
Mm.
line. What did I want to say? What did you ask?
Now the transition from singing
Oh, right.
and then doing acting,
He
yeah.
would be very glad because he always
Mm.
hated it. He always said to say it first in Austrian, du und der blöde Singerei, you and your stupid singing.
Really? Yeah.
Because he saw me as an actor, which I
Oh, I
always
see.
was, also as a
Mm.
singer. You know, but
Mm.
there was, for me, there was never a difference. I mean, because
Mm.
also some operas you only have to sing, fine. But there are so many operas, operettas, Alfine Singspiele or whatever, where you have to talk and you have to also to perform and to be somebody else while you're singing. It
Mm.
doesn't matter if it's Bizet or Wagner or um, Mascagni or whatever, you know,
Mm.
to name some of the most important composers. It's
Mm.
it's always you have to not to hide behind the role. You have to be the role,
Mm.
and that was always my way of seeing it. And no, it's I'm not missing it. I still sing a lot. We do also
Mm.
some programs together. I The last program I did, René Rumpold sings Pop Diven
Mm.
from Edith Piaf to Whitney Houston and things like that. I don't want to sing opera anymore. I'm
Mm.
probably older than I look. And I sang so many times and so many
Mm.
things and sang music. I sang 15 years. I sang Phantom of the Opera in London. I sang Tony West's Story on Broadway. I sang I don't know
Wow.
how many operas.
Mm.
And so I'm not interested anymore so
Mm.
much, you know.
Mm.
But it's the stage which interests me,
Oh,
which
I see.
always
Yeah.
will be of my interest.
Mm. And but tell me, do you have a pre-performance ritual?
No, I should. We should. No, no, I don't. I actually don't. Um,
Yeah. What do you do before a performance?
oh, what do? I do nothing right now.
Yeah.
In olden days, I was ironing.
Really?
Can you imagine? I was ironing shirts with long sleeve shirts, and which is very different, very difficult actually. And but yeah, it made me calm down or whatever. I have no idea. But
Really?
anyway,
Yeah.
now I do nothing, and I'm not nervous anymore, except after this
Yeah.
stupid lockdowns. I don't want to say more about it.
Mm.
Um, that I had the really feeling, gosh, I haven't been on stage for 7 months.
Mm.
And for the first time, it was singing, which I'm more used to do, of course.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
because I didn't do straight acting a lot.
Mm.
I did a lot of films, I did movies, I did ORF, Austrian Broadcast Corporation films, and so on. But the rest I was singing, you know.
Yeah.
So there was always
Mm.
an aria coming up, or a duet coming up, or a terzetto coming
Mm.
up, or a quartetto coming up, and so everybody is happy and singing, or is
Mm.
sad and singing, or is angry and singing, and um, no, but I don't have a ritual. No,
Oh.
not anymore. I love to be on stage. Just that I realized for the last two performances, especially for the opening night, that I was
Mm.
nervous, and it's probably good to
Mm.
find something back which I tried to hide
Yes.
via ironing.
Well, I know how I know who to call now when my when I need something ironed.
You think so? I hope I hope I'm still able to do it. No, no, but I don't iron
But this
anymore.
is,
I hate ironing. I
but
hate ironing meanwhile.
well, this is very unique. I've never heard that before, that somebody irons. You know, I hear how they meditate and how they eat
No.
specific foods and so on, but never heard the ironing story. That is the
I don't believe in other things. I don't believe I
oh,
believe in certain things, of course,
yeah.
but not for stage, because stage
Mm,
is something so real for me. It's so something, it's life, it's
mm,
my life. And
mm,
it becomes also the life of the audience.
mm,
Because what they in between like or not like is
mm,
the actors on stage. And
yeah.
they forget, I hope so, they forget who I am really.
Mm,
And at the end, when we take the bow, yes, fine, then it's
mm,
okay. But for the rest, because I forget that there are people around, that I forget
yeah.
that people are watching me
Really.
and
Mm,
expecting something.
mm,
I'm in my role, and then
mm,
there's a break, and suddenly it's black, and then the curtain shuts, and oh, break, okay.
mm,
And I eat something, or I drink a glass of water, or
mm,
my apple juice with the Leitungswasser, with normal water, and that's it. But I don't have a
mm.
ritual now, not anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the pro. This is the pro talking because you've done so much. So of course you are so comfortable where you are.
Yes.
But yeah, and so what's next for you? Do you have something next on the horizon?
Yes, Zoo Story will be performed also in Stockerau, outside that's Lower Austria, in
Mm,
outside of Vienna. It will be performed where we should have performed it already in April this year, but as we
mm,
know, everything was still closed, shut down. In Theater Arche, which used to be Theater Brett. It's in the 6th district in the Münzbad-Eingasse. On the 21st of October, I will have the performance in Stockerau then. Then also in October, I start with the Dinner and Crime show, which I did last year.
mm,
And we came to the opening night, and that's it, you know. And then
mm,
everything was finished. And there will be on the 2nd of September in the Alte Rathaus in the Old City Hall of Vienna, in the what's the name? What's the street? I don't know. It's in the first district. Um, a new play I've written called Einmal Wien, Berlin und Retour. So it
oh,
will
okay.
be because Johannes Terne is actually from the ex-DDR,
Yeah.
from the Democratic Republic. He was born there. He kind of fled. He wanted to go away, and he made his career later on in the West, and he went to America and then to Austria, and well, where he still lives. And so, but he is half a Berliner and half a Saxe, a Saxon.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's for him more Berlin because his mother was from Berlin,
Mm,
and I feel a Wiener to be a Wiener. My mother was a
mm,
Wienerin or is a Wienerin still,
mm.
um, and so therefore this play it's some kind of a silly kind of a fight between Berlin and the Viennese,
Oh, I see. Okay.
with
Yeah.
songs, with plays, with
Yeah.
Viennese songs, with Berlin songs, and so on. And well, next year is, and the year after will be full. Let's pray.
Hope, yeah.
I have no
But
idea.
this, but I want to ask now, this piece that you wrote, do you write a lot of your own stuff?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
Oh, right. By the way, September will be in the Freien Bühne Wieden. That's in the Wiener
Okay.
Hauptstraße, in the fourth district of
Mm,
Vienna. A play called Eine Rose für Juliette Tricot, a rose for Juliette Tricot, And it's a play about her, but going forward, going in front, going back, going forward, going back, going forward, going back. With the pianist, she sings songs which suit or fits the momentary thing on stage.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the next thing. I almost forgot it. Thank you reminding me. Yes, and I did. What did I write? I wrote about Marlene Dietrich, called Mythos so ein Quatsch, which is Berlin. Berlin dialogue, mythos, such nonsense, which I will perform next year by myself.
Oh, I see.
Me as Marlene
Really?
Dietrich. Yeah, not change my voice, nothing. And I will also do another play called Zara 47, Zara 47. It's about Sarah Leander.
Yeah.
The singer and actress Sarah Leander, and again, I will look like her, but it won't be a travesty. It was also not the Marlene Dietrich. I will be Marlene Dietrich with definitely a different voice, and I will be Sarah Leander, also with different voice, but with my voice. I will not change voice. Both, thank heavens, had quite low voices, so it works.
Oh, okay.
Especially Sarah Leander had a low voice, but Marlene Dietrich too, because in the beginning, when she sang, Ich bin von Kopf bis Fuß auf Liebe eingestellt. And later on, she sang it an octave lower. Ich bin von Kopf bis Fuß auf Liebe eingestellt.
Yeah.
Und das ist meine Welt. Und sonst gar nichts. Also she sang it really very low, so it doesn't matter. I think she ruined her voice a little bit in the beginning of her career, because at that time, voices had to be very feminine, very high. Yeah, that was in the 20s, 30s. And of course, she wasn't very welcome in Germany anymore, because she became an American citizen and sang for the soldiers, for the GIs on the fields, on the battlefields. And so she wasn't very welcome, and she was even spitted on. Well,
really?
She was performed in Stuttgart. It was 1974, I guess, and she did still a concert, and there was a lady who spit at her directly into her face. So, so probably she was a real Nazi, and she would have been happy if we still have a Hitler.
But and these what do you call them? They are not plays that you write. It's
biographical plays.
Biographical plays. Okay. Are these are they about people you admire, or what is the interest to write something like?
Yes, indeed. I love Marlene Dietrich. I love Edith Piaf. I wrote a play about Piaf. Non, je ne regrette rien. No, I don't regret anything. No, I don't regret nothing, to be correct. And many other plays. I wrote a play about George Gershwin, and it's just called the George Gershwin story. I wrote a play about Cole Porter, which was performed many times, also with myself, but also with other actors. It's funny sometimes to see other people playing your own role. Yeah, but it's interesting. It's sometimes you think fantastic, sometimes you think horrible.
Really? Yeah, because you probably have this idea already in your head how you want it to be. Yeah.
Exactly.
But you are a genius, because I mean, it's the singing, it's the acting, it's the writing. Is there something you can't do? Please tell me there's one thing you can't do.
I can't cook, for example. So if you invite me for a good dinner, I would really appreciate it. I would love to see you also face to face again. But I love this. I mean, I can't say it's for me. And what's the word for ersatz in English? Replacement for real, face to face. It never will be. But I did many Zoom meetings this year and last year, just because of that, because people couldn't or were not allowed to meet on the road or to talk to each other or with a mask. Now, from the 1st of July on, the people are allowed to wear normal Nasen-Mundschutz.
Yeah.
not anymore this bloody sick making mask,
Yeah.
which sooner or later you will find out. Sooner or later
Yeah.
we'll all have lung problems
Mm.
because we always inhaled the same we just exhaled. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not healthy. That's not
No.
healthy. I mean, I studied five. Don't know anything. Do you know anything? I studied 5 semesters medicine, and I know
Really?
almost nothing about medicine.
Yeah.
But I know a little bit more than our ex Gesundheitsminister, and probably a little bit more also about our now Gesundheitsminister. But let's not talk about politics, otherwise I'm
Yeah.
getting nervous.
No, but I think these Zoom interviews are that I do now with artists is actually because everybody can quickly do it. You can quickly do it before you do something, because it's a great way to promote whatever people are doing and to find out what people are doing, and I find it so interesting. I mean, the other
It's
day I
fantastic what
spoke.
you're doing. But it was also fantastic that you came into my courtyard and I was singing for your Christmas song, you remember?
It's so lovely that you did that for me, and it was winter and it was so cold, but you sang so beautifully. Yeah.
It was a pleasure. It was a real pleasure. And then I walked you a little bit
Yes.
the Wien
Yes.
entlang and
Yeah.
talked, and
We
I hope
couldn't go for a coffee because everything was still closed by that
at
time.
that time, but now
Yeah.
we are allowed, even without
Now we can.
masks. Can you imagine?
Now we have to.
So,
Yeah.
and I have
Yeah.
your phone number, and I promise it's a promise or it's a must.
Yeah.
I can do it again. But it's fantastic what you're doing because I've seen all your Zoom meetings, your
Mm,
people. Some of them I knew, some of them I don't. It doesn't
mm.
matter if I don't know everybody, so and not
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody knows me, and that's
Mm.
fine. But it's interesting. It's always interesting to
Yeah.
hear. Me, as you know, I love to talk and
Yeah, but that's
talk a lot,
great.
a charm or whatever.
Yeah.
So people are getting too lazy, which I'm not so happy about it because
Mm,
it is something important to go to a theater. And when you're in a theater,
mm,
and even I realized these people now for the last 2 performances sitting down with masks.
mm,
And even on the 27th of October in Baden by Wien, when I did the concert, they were sitting with masks, not with this bloody FFP mask, but
oh, really?
um, with
Mm,
masks. And I remember one old elderly guy sitting in the first row who probably suffered of asthma.
mm,
And he always had to take the mask away to breathe. And I heard him
mm.
breathing very loudly, very.
Oh, I see.
But he was sitting there, and at the end, for the Zugaben, for the encores, I said, I have encores, but please,
Mm,
I can't see you anymore suffering with your mask. And
mm,
everybody of this, yeah, elderly people, I mean, they all
mm,
became older with me, stood
mm.
up and said, no, we won't. And I almost
Yeah.
started to cry because I was
Yeah.
allowed to be on stage without a mask, as
Mm,
also this time. But it's silly, and
mm,
you shouldn't ruin the whole thing. I'm not a Verschwörungstheoretiker. I am not somebody who thinks that the virus is not existing. It is
mm,
existing,
mm.
but you can do things right or can do things wrong. Yes.
But listen, this was now so great because I think it's so important that you talk about this play that you did. This is what I wanted to say about the Zoom. I think it's so wonderful to understand what you were doing because when you see the poster, I saw the poster and it looked interesting because I think it's great, it was a great picture. But
Yeah.
now that I hear the story and that I hear the what it's all about, I'm really looking forward to Saturday. And thank you so much for inviting me to come.
I'm looking forward to see you on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going
And I'm
to.
looking forward to see you next time, even without cooking. I would accept a meeting with you without cooking. But
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
no,
forward to
definitely.
meet you again, and
Yeah.
it was a real pleasure talking to you again, and once again, congratulations for the idea
Thank you
It's
so
an
much.
idea you started.
Mm.
It's an idea that you came and photographed people. It was your idea because you're a photographer. It was your
Mm.
idea because for some people to sing or to play the
Mm.
violin or whatever, you know.
Mm.
And so people in that time, you probably helped many people not to feel completely useless. And
Well,
many
that was the idea, and I, that was the
not
whole
only for
idea.
yourself, also for the others.
And
Because
yeah, and
sometimes, some, for me, singing for you on the terrace, singing
mm,
down, was such a pleasure, you know.
really,
And yes, it was a pleasure. It was a real pleasure. I think I told you it was a pleasure. Um, Not only singing for you and
mm.
for the whole situation, but it was like part of Christmas.
Oh
Fantastic.
yeah, and it's I always felt so privileged standing there, and with you and with other artists playing or singing, that then I thought to myself, like, wow, I come from a small industrial town in South Africa, and
Where are you from exactly?
I think about it so often, and when I walked in and took these pictures, I sometimes thought to myself, I would never ever have thought, when I was a child, or even when I was younger, that I would be here and I would be able to do this and meet people like you, for example. I mean, it was for me such a privilege when I wrote you. I wrote and I thought, no way, he's not going to, you're too big a star to take note of me. And, and you did, and you had faith in me. And it's all these stars of Vienna who had faith in me to say yes, and it was for me also
It was faith in you, but you
a sort of a
brought back
journey
the
that,
faith in itself. It was
pardon?
faith in you. It was faith in you, but you also brought faith into
Yeah.
them, back to them, and that's
Well,
why I
it's,
say thank you.
yeah. I think it's, for me, I think I went through like also I don't know if you say journey, but it was always also a
It is a
point
journey.
of then carrying on, and it was something for me also to carry on in this time, because it was also, you know what it was like. It was a long
Oh,
year and it was not much to do.
no,
Thank you so much
thank you so much, Petra.
for
It was a
for
pleasure.
really for everything. Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
we'll speak again with your next a concert. I would love to when you're, and you say it's in October.
It's
Um,
in October. September will be eine Rose für Gillette Tricot, a rose for Gillette
yeah,
Tricot, and the Freie Bühne Wien in the fourth district in the Wiener Hauptstraße. There will be, I think, 14 or 15 performances.
yeah.
Um, I think 15, yes, and many other things. But I keep you informed.
Have a
Thank you.
lovely, and send my love to Johannes as well, because I'll be
Well,
watching him as well. I haven't met him, but it would be
you
also
will meet
lovely
him
to
on
meet him.
Saturday.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
Lots of love to you.
Bye.
Kisses.
Thank
Bye bye.
you. Bye.
Bye bye.